talk about government waste. This is actually cruel to you. A $43 million gas station paid for by you, the taxpayer, and the Inspector General finding the gas station, which is in Afghanistan, should have cost $500,000, but you paid $43 million. And more disgusting, the Pentagon can't even say why it paid so much. It doesn't even know. Illinois Congressman Adam Kinzinger is here. Good evening, sir.
Hey, Greta.
What do you say?
It's ludicrous, and it's not, this has been going on in Afghanistan for a while, going on in Iraq during the reconstruction there. And this, frankly, happens here in the United States. Government is unable sometimes to explain where money was spent. There's so much waste that goes into things. And any of your viewers that, have been in the military know the story. There's always a story about a base that gets bracked or shut down, but right before they shut it down, they build a new front gate or build a new command post or something in it. And for some reason, in 30 years or longer, we have not been able to get on our hands around how to fix a ludicrous problem like this.
People should just stop stealing. Look, when you spend $43 million to build a $500,000 gas station, something's wrong. And this is what the Inspector General said in the report, and shame on the Pentagon for this. In part, writes, one of the most troubling aspects of this project is that the Department of Defense claims that it's unable to provide an explanation for the high cost of the project or to answer any other questions concerning its planning, implementation, or outcome. Shame on the Department of Defense, and you know what? They should start firing people over there. $43 million for a $500,000 gas station.
Absolutely. And in the National Defense Authorization Act, which, by the way, the President vetoed in a very public way, there are the beginning of acquisition reforms. So when you look at how the Pentagon does business, we all know about the F-35, and that's cost way more than it should have, even though it's a great aircraft. How do we begin to fix the acquisition process, and how do we fix the process
you know what?
like
Start indicting people for doing this. Martha Stewart and Dennis Hastert lied to the FBI, and they got into one trouble. You can spend all this money and take all this money.
And people need to take ownership. If you run a budget in Afghanistan, for instance, it may be a small piece of the overall reconstruction funds, but people have to take ownership. Pretend like that's their money, because it is. It's the federal government.
Every time my husband uses Uber, it pops up on my phone because it's to my credit card. Maybe they ought to have, when they hit that $500,000 mark, everyone else to get a ping, ping, ping that we're spending all this money. $43 million. And, I think this is why the outsiders are so popular in this race, because everyone is so sick and tired of hearing this stuff. Nobody goes to jail, and they just spend the money.
I agree. And when all is said and done, this has got to be fixed. And what concerns me about it is these kinds of waste, this kind of story, begins to turn the American people against the Afghanistan reconstruction effort or against fixing Afghanistan. And there's a lot of good examples of where it's worked, building schools for young ladies and whatever else. And so this is a sad thing. It's got to get fixed. And in Congress, I guess we have to do a better job of oversight on this.
Comedian Kathleen Madigan says, when she looks at all the reconstruction in Afghanistan going on, she says, why can't we get our military to invade Detroit? And that's really, when you see these, obviously she's being flippant and everything, but when you see the absolute, theft of American money, when you give them $500,000 for a gas station to take $43 million.
The gas station, by the way, which doesn't even have a demand. There's not even a demand for it.
Well, you know what? If someone were indicted, and don't tell me there isn't some fraud there, I could find some reason to indict somebody. We don't take $43 million for a $500,000 project. Anyway.
Nobody gets fired. It's like the VA. Nobody
indicted.
Gets fired.
I'm beyond the fire.
Yeah.
I'm beyond the fire.
Let's start with firing.
Let's start with indictments. Anyway, Congressman, thank you, sir.
You bet.